Discover your psychic powers. Respond to the test. There are many extensive studies that have been carried out inside and outside the parameters of the parapsychology to evaluate the psychic potential of the human being. And there have been few occasions when the experiments have been more surprised than the same experienced people. Within the psychic faculties, the best known is the clairvoyance, promoted by large companies that make it a mere logo or brand that a scientist cannot trust, and if it is a business or scam. The clairvoyance people are sensitive and humble persons who feel overwhelmed and sometimes distressed for not understanding what is the origin or dimension of their faculties. Clairvoyance, for example, usually comes suddenly and unexpectedly, without the individual being able to consciously provoke it. The same usually happens with the premonitions. They are spontaneous phenomena that arrive without warning, and although the so-called telekinesis or psychokinesis, that is the ability to move objects, sometimes occur unconsciously. It's usually one of the phenomena that must obey the effort and therefore bow to the will of the gifted. Then we will perform a test to evaluate what degree and intensity of psychic potential you have and what type of faculty you have more developed. Each affirmative answer will give you a number of points. If it's negative, it will mark as 0. You must add all the points to each answer until you reach a final score, where we will offer you at the end to show you in which category you are within the psychic faculties. In the test, only punctual affirmative add points up to get the final score. It's not about reaching a high sum. Be honest and respond without suggesting. Have you felt someone else's presence when you were alone? Have you ever felt the sensation that a family member of yours or friend was in danger, and then could you verify that it had really happened at that moment that you caught it? Have you had dreams and premonitions or events that are fulfilled after a while? Is it usual that at one point you remember a person and at that moment that person called you on the phone? Have you ever seen a deceased being who appeared near you? Are there moments when you have thought the same without having spoken with your partner or friends? Have you sensed that someone close to you will die shortly and it happened? Have you ever seen images of a disaster in the world that later corresponded when you saw it on television? Did you know at the same moment that someone had just died, and could you then confirm it? Did you dream years ago that a friend or an acquaintance will marry another person also known to you, and this wouldn't take place? Do you know someone with whom you share the same dreams and with the same details? Have you heard voices more than once inside your mind? Are you able to know the details of someone's intimate life when you just met? Have you ever felt while you are sleeping as someone is touching, caressing, or pressing on your chest? Did you have a dream in which you saw an accident of an acquaintance and after a few days did it really take place? It often happens to you that together with a partner or a friend, you are humming the same song mentally. When you have lost an object at home, you end up finding it following your intuition. If you have pets, have you felt several times that you have a connection with them, or that they have been able to perceive your thoughts? Has it ever occurred to you that driving on the road you felt a bad vibration at a specific point, and after a few days has an accident occurred on that same stretch? Have you ever received a visit from a deceased family member or acquaintance who sent you a message? At all the points. Now I will show you the test results. If you have between 50 and 1000 points, you are a clairvoyant. If you are a clairvoyant, it means that you have the ability to see and feel events that are generally occurring in the present. But within clairvoyance, there is the recognition that will be a sensitivity to capture past events. There is no fixed rule to know if your power will increase over time or stop. Although, if you are young, they will most likely increase to maturity. If you are a clairvoyant, you have the ability to perceive information that is scattered in the ether. You are sensitive to the capture of vibrations from these and other dimensions, and you are probably connected to the so-called Akashic Records, a library of universal knowledge located on a plane of higher consciousness, where past, present, and future will be archived and compiled into data that you could access. Clairvoyants are strongly influenced by the water signs of Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, or in the astral charts they have planetary conjunctions in such astrological signs. If you have between 1000 and 1500 points, you own precognition. The precognition is within the category of clairvoyance, but projecting those visions and feelings towards the future, which is usual for these premonitions to occur during nighttime sleep. Those who have this faculty mean that they are in tune with plans or existence outside of space and time. Somehow, they are gifted to be prophets of the future. Many of them are very marked by the signs of Aquarius, or its ruler, the Uranus planet, was very prominent in the sky at their time of birth. Many of them do not follow the linear reincarnation cycle, that is to say, a previous life that goes from the past forward, but their souls follow an inverse advance. They come from the future. In the previous life, they were perhaps 500 years in the future, and they have gone back in the course of time until this time to implant innovate ideas and advance knowledge in society, to renew old prejudices and current schemes. If you have between 1,500 and 3,200 points, you own telepathy. Telepathy is one of the easiest faculties to identify in the field of psychic studies. It is the transmission of thought, where a set of images, sensations, and feelings intervenes in this process. If you are a telepath, we suggest that you use the famous Zener cards, with which you can develop that capacity better, and also discover if you enter the category of receiver telepath or transmitter telepath, since one of these two attributes is always stronger than the other. If you are a telepath, you are very influenced by the sign of Capricorn, or its ruler, Saturn, has dominated your astral card. If you have 3,200 points or more, you are medium. Mediumship is perhaps the most disconcerting of all psychic faculties, since it implies that you are able to receive messages at a visual or auditory level from other entities, whether they are disembodied humans or interdimensional beings. If you are a medium, you must develop a strong personality so that you do not get duped by dark entities that could manipulate you or encourage you to do things that endanger your life or your mental health. If you are medium, you should know that within you have left an open door to other planes, a door that you should learn to close from time to time to be able to choose who should or shouldn't enter through it. There are many types of mediums. There are those who only receive auditory message, other visuals, and the most common are those who practice automatic writing, taking a paper and a pencil, relaxing their muscles and their hands, begin to write messages that do not belong to their mind or subconscious, sometimes offering data that wasn't accessible by the person itself. If you are a medium, you are very influenced by the sign of Pisces, or its rule Neptune is very powerful in your astral card.